Okay guys, so today in this video we are doing an outing with Lloyd at Home Depot. This is his first time ever doing an outing here. He does have a lot of behavioral issues regarding fear and a bit of anxiety towards men, large objects, anything intimidating. So first thing I do when we get out into the parking lot is that I'm going to do a warm-up with him, get him in tune and working with me, moving with me, and giving me a little bit of engagement. So I will be rewarding any eye contact, easily moving body movements coming towards me, healing, getting him in tune with that, and just sharpening up his obedience before we even get inside the building. I suggest that a lot of people do this because if you have a hard time getting your dog in tune with you in the building, chances are you can probably use some of that tune up outside in the parking lot first. That way it gets you guys a good grounding on where you're at with your engagement before you even go inside. As I'm walking into Home Depot, I have him in a heel command, which means he has to stay on my left side. I am reinforcing this with leash pressure and e-collar pressure. As you can see in my right hand, I'm holding his transmitter for his e-collar. So watching his body language change as we enter the building, there's going to be a lot of different sounds and noises he hears. You can see already like he's a lot more spooked and jumpy. Having the structure and keeping him in a heel, giving him a job to do is going to keep his mind at ease and take away from him feeling insecure. You can see he's looking back, he's trying to turn, but me reinforcing that heel, making sure that he's staying on task, that's all I'm looking for from him. So we first get in, I pull him off to the side just to create a little bit of engagement stuff with him. I'm talking about exactly what just happened when we first entered, how he is fairly insecure, turning around, looking over his shoulder, really unsure of all the strange people, the noises, the machinery that's beeping. So I'm going to bring the food out and I'm going to work a little bit of engagement stuff with him just to relax him a bit and decompress him in the situation that he's clearly stressed out from. These are the types of situations that you need to work through in order to have your dog understand that it's okay to be calm and relaxed in these situations and that they don't have to be so uptight and stressed. So you can see just the way that he's holding his tail, obviously he's not too crazily excited about it. He's very unsure. Again, this is his first outing ever in this type of environment, so I can't expect him to be overly excited or really confident in a situation like this. Reactive dogs or dogs that are insecure, a lot of it is just keeping them in this environment and showing them how to be neutral and relaxed and hang out. And because a lot of people don't do this, you're good, buddy. Come. And a lot of it is just showing him the positive side of things. Like, people aren't going to interact with him and there's no forced relationship. Come. Yeah, good boy. Good job. Alright, let's go. Then we begin and continue our walk. Again, we're passing by a lot of men in this building, so it's very consistent to see that he's overlooking his shoulder. He's constantly checking different spots around him. But these are all great training opportunities to show him how I do expect him to behave in this environment. So mistakes alone, it's not a bad thing to have to correct your dog or to have choppy obedience. It's really about the mindset that we're looking for with this dog. I want him to be put in those situations where he learns that it's okay to be calm and relaxed in these situations, because he's not going to have to interact with any of his surroundings. All he has to do is follow me and follow my directions, and he'll be okay. And you can see with his body language, he will definitely try to duck behind me to avoid any high pressure situations. High pressure for him would be large objects, lots of people walking by like this. And again, I go at his pace. If it's too much for him, we'll pull off to the side and I'll give him a moment to collect himself. We pull off into a quieter aisle where again he can decompress. There's not as many stressors for him. Stressors for him would be people, large objects, noises. I bring that food out again to create some engagement with him. Yes, good job. So if you ever find like things are really crowded, obviously it's that main way is rewarding eye contact is always great. Suggested. If your dog needs a minute and just a break, take them into a different aisle where it's quiet like this, collect their brain, give them a moment to decompress, lots of food to help them to relax. Good boy. Good job. Oh my goodness, that's so hard. Good job, but he's doing well. You're doing good, buddy. Yeah, we don't need perfection, we just need you to try. Heel. Then I see an opportunity to do some confidence building. I see if he'll get up on this small staircase. I'm just going to reward the smallest steps because for him, obviously, it's a very busy environment. I can't expect him to go all the way. It is a little bit shaky as well, so that can be intimidating and a little bit uneasy for him. So I let him take his time. I encourage him to go higher up. I bring the food out to reward. And doing all of this gives him a really good task to focus on instead of this whole environment that is so overwhelming to him. And then he offers to go back up all on his own. I reward. So right there, he got a little correction for not sitting. He wanted more space from these giant ply boards that are coming through, which is fine. Just tells me that he needs to be more confident in those situations. So we work through it, and I find another spot for him to kind of decompress. Still keeping that structure of having him in that heel. Super important. And then I simplify things for him. I put him up on the place command where he just gets to chill out and kind of view his surroundings and go back to rewarding engagement with him and just making things much simpler for him. And now we go back through the same way we just came. Again, a lot more men on this part of the building. So you can see that he's a little bit more spooked out by that, wants to create more space. I slow my walk down so we're not as frantic trying to move through, and I just take my time. He's still looking over his shoulder a ton because he can hear that there's lots of people walking. And if you can notice, I've slowed my pace down a ton, walking pretty slow, considerably slower than I was walking before. And then one lady, I'm pretty sure, asked if she could pet the dog, and I say, no, thank you. And that is the end of the outing. So he could use a lot of good practice coming and going through there just to teach him how to be calm, relaxed, and neutral. Teach him that those people and that kind of environment with all the different noises aren't going to interact with him in order to decrease any anticipation of interaction, so he won't be fearful and stressed out in those situations anymore.